I can't be falling apart over my boss. I can't be daydreaming about sliding my hands up her blouse or wondering what color the bra is that she chose today. Do her panties match? Does she even wear panties? Why are we doing this? Why? Why do I do this to myself? Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and this is Shelby Reads, where we talk about sapphic books all day, every day, all year round. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am a femme for butch lesbian who came out in 2013. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can hear more about sapphic books. Whether it's rant reviews or reading wrap-ups or special videos I have planned, there's always something new over on this channel. At least once a week. Fingers crossed that stays true, okay? Today we're going to be talking about the adult sapphic romance, Lesbian Boss by Kitty Jones. It is an adult romance novella. What happens when your boss doesn't notice you, but you can't stop seeing her? Emily has had her heart broken by her boss, badly. She's so torn apart she only has one choice: find another job. The problem? She just matched with her new boss on a dating app. Here we go again. Hillary can't keep her eyes off her new employee. Soft, sweet, beautiful, smart. Emily checks every box on Hillary's true love wish list. She's her employee though. It's forbidden. It's wrong. When a freak snowstorm traps them together, sparks fly. But will sparks be enough? This is a spicy lesbian forced proximity romance that features a just one bed trope. Ugh. It sounds to me like Emily has a problem. A recurring problem. Also, work romance, you all know how I feel about those. But I am trying to get through all of the books I own, and I will buy or read anything if it has lesbian in the title, okay? You know, I wasn't gonna do a video on this one, but timing with the whole Christmas ones just kind of meant I needed something extra to give y'all on Friday, and I ended up hating this book so much. Alright, so you know how we roll. There were no trigger warnings for this on Storygraph, so here are some from me. Infidelity, cursing, alcohol, and sexual content. And here are my quick disclaimers before we get into the review. This review is not intended for the author or stance of this author's work. This review is specifically for other readers. This review will contain all of the spoilers. If you want to read this book, I would click off of this video. I'm not going to leave this unspoiled, okay? I'm not bashing sapphic books. I believe that we have the right to have mediocre sapphic books and amazing sapphic books, but if straight people are allowed to get on the internet and complain about the books they read that are terrible, I'm allowed to do the same exact thing. And lastly, just because I didn't like this book doesn't mean you won't. This is just my opinion, and you're allowed to have a different one, and if you think that this book sounds right up your alley, go right ahead. It's only 84 pages. It doesn't take very long to get through. Without further ado, let's get started. Chapter 1, Hillary. We start with Hillary being handed some papers from HR, but she isn't an HR person. It's got HR written all over it, so why is it on my desk? I'm not the human resources person. To be fair, sometimes I'm not really sure what person I am. I'm the person who wants to fall in love. I'm the person who keeps holding herself back. So you're at work, what does that have anything to do with the whole paperwork situation? Let me know. The HR manager, Rebecca, is asking for her to sign something because Eleanor is out today. Hillary says she cannot because Eleanor is the HR director. This will have to wait until tomorrow. Rebecca tries to argue and it goes back and forth. And then just like that, I realize who I am. I realize I've been promoted. I realize I have an assistant now. I realize that just because Rebecca is used to being in HR doesn't mean that she gets to take control of everything. How do you forget you're promoted? How do you forget about that?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
She tells Rebecca that this conversation is over and tells her to go back to her office, and she shoves the papers toward Rebecca and then she takes off for her own office. She can hear Rebecca make an angry squeak, but she pretends she doesn't hear it and she closes the door. She sees that there is a card and a bouquet on her desk from her friends Tori and Jessica. The card is congratulating her, and then we get dumped all of this information about her friends. I smile at the card. Tori and Jessica are on their honeymoon because they decide to randomly elope. When they get back, they're going to have a big wedding ceremony, presumably, but I'm not buying it. We have some other friends and colleagues who are also due to get married. One thing I've learned about lesbians is that they don't seem to have any trouble getting married fast. The joke about U-Hauls is totally true, at least around here. See, I thought I was being smart because we were together for 7 years before I got married, but also, yay, a U-Haul joke. There is a knock at her office door and a curvy redhead wearing combat boots in a short black dress comes in. And here I was hoping at least one of these people would be butch because combat boots were on the cover, but of course not. Why do I have to beg for content? Someday there will be butch for femme content as far as the eye can see. is internally panicking and she says, Emily, nice to meet you. Emily is nervous and says, hi. Hillary is wondering if she remembers her because they were supposed to go out the night before from a dating app, but she didn't go because she realized that Emily was her new assistant. And part of Hillary really wishes that she had gone for it and met up with her last night. And now they've got this weird sexual chemistry. Why? This whole thing just sounds awkward, not sexy. But Hillary wants to find someone who loves her for her, and she needs simple. But Emily is not simple. But Hillary is still checking out Emily and her damn freckles. Ugh. I like them. What would it be like to hold her in bed and count every freckle? What would it feel like to be able to kiss every damn inch of her body? No, I can't. I can't even let myself go there because if I do, I won't stop. Why do none of the books I've been reading lately have adults that have like restraint? I don't believe you're grown adults when you say, I won't stop. You can stop yourself, you're an adult. Emily says that she didn't get to meet Hillary during the hiring process, and Hillary can kind of tell that Emily's nervous. Hillary says that she knows and that it's unusual because supervisors usually choose their own employees, but the merger has been chaotic, and the merger was unplanned, by the way. But two people fell in love and they threw things into chaos by merging their companies, I think. It's a little confusing. Emily says that she's glad to be here, and Hillary is having a field day inside her own brain, telling herself that she has to resist. And we learn that Hillary is 31 years old on the same page as this. You think a 31-year-old is out here acting and thinking like this?
Who are you talking to right now?
We learn that Emily's not younger than 25 because she has far too much confidence. I mean, based on all the descriptions in the first chapter of the book so far, she doesn't seem to be too confident to me. Hillary asks Emily to tell her about herself. Ah yes, a very normal thing to do at a job after you almost hooked up with your brand new employee on a dating app. Hillary thinks that Emily doesn't remember that they were supposed to meet up last night, or she's trying to be professional.
Yeah, no shit, honey!
Emily is like, what do you want to know? Hillary can't stop thinking about how much fun she had talking to her yesterday and hearing about Emily's dog, and they have a lot in common. And she thinks that she should have texted Emily back and told her why they couldn't meet up, but instead she just unmatched her on the app like a loser. An avoidant lead.
It's just what he always wanted. It's perfectly right. It's just what he always wanted. A Christmas delight.
Hillary asks Emily why she wants to work here. Emily asks if this is still an interview because she thought she had the role already. Hillary says, I'm sorry, I'm tired, I haven't had my caffeine yet. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm doing this all wrong. Emily laughs at her, which is more gracious to her than I think she should have been. And Hillary wishes that they were drinking a bottle of wine instead of this. Well, you fucked that up, so I don't know why you keep bringing it up. Emily says that it's fine, she just wanted to make sure that she had the role. And there's an attempt at a joke, but I'm not gonna bother telling you about it. Nothing in this book is funny. Hillary asks about her work history. Are you guys getting hot and bothered yet? Because this is supposed to be sexy. Like, I understand that the taboo is the appeal, but it's a kink that I personally don't get. I understand the idea of the thrill of being caught, but why does it have to be at work is my question. Emily says that she was a receptionist for her college dorm for 4 years, and she worked for a law firm as their administrative assistant, but she needed a change. This sets off alarm bells for Hillary because they paid twice the average salary in their area, like the law firm. So why would Emily leave? That's a great question, honestly, but we already know the answer from the synopsis. Hillary asks, you really just decided to make a change, and Emily nods. And Hillary can tell that she's lying, and she wonders if she wants to establish employees can just lie to her. She wants to be a boss babe, but she knows she's been weaker than what she wants to be in the past. But Hillary just decides to be an asshole instead. Try again, I say. Excuse me? Nobody just takes a break from Kay and Jacobson, I say. They offer unlimited PTO, insane salaries to entry-level workers, and they have a gym, a coffee shop, and a restaurant free on site. Try again. She stares at me. Emily, if this is going to work, I want full honesty, full transparency. I'm not going to promise that I'm the best boss, but I'll be damn fair. I'll be good. I know this company inside and out, and I know what it takes to keep things running smoothly. I also know that if you want to do well here, you're going to want me on your side. So let's try again. Why did you leave your last position? Emily takes a deep breath. I started dating my boss, she finally says, and she dumped me. Emily. I feel like this is just crazy entitlement to somebody's personal life. You feel entitled just because you almost went on a date with her. This is so blatantly unprofessional and it's a serious overreach, especially when you're the one who said that this job pays half as much as her old one. You were doing all of this to her for barely any money. Get it together. Chapter 2, Emily. Emily feels humiliated and embarrassed because she had to say that shit out loud, all because Hillary wanted to feel like a boss babe. We learned that Emily thought what she had with Abigail was special, but Emily was the other woman and she had no idea. Hillary is like, so you dated your boss? Emily is surprised that she decided to be honest, but she's proud of herself. Girl, the job market is shit. You shouldn't be proud of yourself. You are fumbling all of the bags and you have a college degree. I just know you have student loan debt. And Emily is worried she's gonna get fired from this brand new job that she hasn't even started at. Hillary tries to get clarification and Emily offers that they slept together and they fell in love, or at least she fell in love.
Bitch, you better be joking.
Why would you admit to this? Why would you admit to any of this? This is just for the plot and it's stupid as hell. Everyone lies at their job. What are we talking about? Hillary asks which boss because she's nosy as fuck and Emily tells her. Hillary cannot believe it and she just wants to know everything. Emily thinks this has to be some kind of HR violation. I fucking agree. Emily doesn't talk about what happened in general because it's too painful and she's kicking herself because her best friend Margaret told her that it was a mistake. Hillary says, because I want to know. Tell me because I want to know. Emily says, but you're my boss. And this just makes me think of that whole stepbrother, what are you doing type shit. Like, stop it. Hillary says you dated your last boss and surely talking about dating isn't as bad as dating your actual boss, and Emily is just totally flabbergasted. But Hillary changes her mind because she just wants to do some kind of fucked up power play, in my opinion. She says it's none of her business, it's just that Abigail and I go way back. They went to college together and she was the first girl that Hillary had ever kissed, and does she still do that thing with her tongue? Emily says yes and Hillary says nice. Ew, boo, professional boundaries, where are they? And then they're moving on to Emily's schedule for the week and how it might be weird. I guess we're just gonna rush past the whole tongue thing. Emily asks how weird and Hillary says it's gonna be as weird as we want it to be. And Emily says, I don't know what that means. Hillary explains that there's going to be a lot of meetings with different people and you're going to have a lot of meetings with me. And Emily thinks that doesn't sound like such a bad thing.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Chapter 3, Hillary. Hillary is out at a restaurant with her friend Amber, who is telling her to be careful because she hired her Tinder date, which is playing with fire. Hillary says that was actually on Bumble. Amber does not care, and neither do I. Hillary says it's not what you think, but Amber says yes it is. You're trying to sabotage yourself before you can even get started. She and Hillary just go back and forth about this. We learn that Amber and Hillary used to date, but it was a long time ago and they've both moved on and Amber is happy with Kelly. They decide they're celebrating Hillary's promotion because Hillary decided to get an appetizer. Riveting. We learn that they felt very differently about saving money and that's why they didn't work as lovers. Amber brings up that Hillary wants to fuck her new assistant. So messy, I say. Messy isn't always a bad thing. It is when it comes to work, I say. I don't know how the two of us are going to, you know, make anything happen. She's going to be a great assistant. I can't exactly fire her because I suddenly want to jump her bones too. First of all, don't say that. What? Nobody says jump her bones anymore, Amber says. I know. This was published in 2025 and it was only 84 pages, but I wanted to burn my iPad. Okay. Amber tries to say you don't really need an assistant, but Hillary says she needs one because her job is hard and complicated and messy, and she didn't have things together when they were a couple, but she's starting to figure some things out now. And then she thinks this right after saying it. I'm not pretending that I'm going to be the best girlfriend or most valuable life partner. I can't promise any of that. What I can promise is that I'll be here for Emily if she does want to date me, and I'll be here if she doesn't. Shit.
What the hell are you talking about?
You barely know her. You were her boss. You were 31. Amber comforts her and tells her it will all be okay. Hillary doesn't really believe her necessarily. Amber reveals that she and Kelly almost broke up last week because of jealousy and miscommunication, but it made Amber reevaluate things and she thinks Kelly is worth fighting for. They're both on the same page, but they're technically broken up just for now. Nope. If I break up with anyone in the future or they break up with me, I'm not going to be giving them a second chance, okay? I've already wasted too much of my life, apparently. absolutely no. Hillary wants to know about what kind of changes they're both going to be making, and they're going to schedule date nights, and Amber is changing, so that means Hillary can change too. But Hillary says she doesn't want to change. Amber says that's fine, but you need to choose between a girl you literally just met or your career. And Hillary says when you phrase it like that, the answer seems obvious. Because it is. You fucking dumbass. Chapter 4, Emily. Emily is early for work, but she's pretty queasy and she has a headache, and one of her coworkers checks to see if she's okay. She says she has a headache, but she didn't want to call out, and she has headaches a lot, apparently. And then the coworker talks about his wife's bad headaches. Emily wonders if this is from stress or anxiety, and her coworker is really nice and is like, let me know if you need anything, and do you know about the break room yet? And she didn't know about it, no one told her. This is so interesting. I'm on the edge of my seat. He leaves to go do his job, presumably. Hillary gets on the elevator and says good morning to her. Emily freaks out internally over the whole dating app thing, and she had been excited to meet Hillary, but that was stupid, and she's bothered by this anyway. She wonders if Hillary felt any of the things that she felt. Girl, you texted very briefly and we're going to meet up. You were acting like you were writing thousands of love letters in the 1800s. Emily thinks that Hillary is overdressed for a normal work day, and she thinks this is not a fucking sort of day, but she wishes it was. And then in detail, she thinks about having sex with Hillary on Hillary's desk.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Office sex is my least favorite trope. And before you say, Shelby, why do you pick up these books then? I don't always read the synopsis of books before I get them. And I refuse to DNF because I'm committed to the bit and I'm getting my money's worth, okay? Hillary asks Emily if she's ready for the big day. Emily lies and says she's always ready, even though she wants to lay down because of the headache. She thinks she can't fall for her boss again. I can't fall for my boss, not again. At some point, a girl's got to eat. I've got to buy groceries and pay rent and do all those important big girl things. I can't be falling apart over my boss. I can't be daydreaming about sliding my hands up her blouse or wondering what color the bra is that she chose today. Do her panties match? Does she even wear panties? Why are we doing this? Why? Why do I do this to myself? I wonder sometimes if I enjoy reading anymore, but I do. I just read Carol by Patricia Highsmith and it was so good. So good. It's a good thing I like ranting too, or I would be stewing all the time about these fucking books I read. Hillary tells her that they have 2 meetings about the merger and then a meeting with Portia from marketing. Emily said she thought she would just be working to support Hillary, and Hillary tells her that she will be, but Hillary's role includes working with the marketing team sometimes, but they don't need them much, except they do need to talk about rebranding right now. Hillary assures her that soon this will all be second nature, and Emily wants to kiss Hillary. Grown adults. Also, neurotypical people, sound off, please. Is this how you guys think? Are you guys thinking about people's underwear? Do you have like no impulse control? Because I have ADHD and probably definitely autism. And even when I wasn't medicated for the ADHD, I didn't have this problem. Emily is going to be shadowing Hillary, but she also has some of her own meetings to go to without Hillary. Emily is worried about this because she doesn't feel ready yet. My current job didn't really train me that much, so I know this feeling intimately. They briefly head to their separate offices. The assistant gets their own office? This is absurd. After 5 minutes, Hillary comes and asks if she's ready for their 9 o'clock. It's actually been an hour and Emily can't believe it. Hillary calls her M and Emily thinks only lovers call me that. They're ready to go. Apparently. Chapter 5, Hillary. Hillary is at the bar. I just want to say we're only on chapter 5 of an 84-page book and she has been drinking in at least 2 chapters. That's almost 50%. She's bothering her favorite bartender, Max. He tells her that she needs to chill or she'll have a heart attack. He's also gay. Yay. Hillary is telling him how pretty Emily is and how he wouldn't understand. To me, it doesn't even seem like he's friends with her. It feels like he's just humoring her, even though they've allegedly been friends for years. A woman comes up and asks for Hillary's name and she invites her to join her and her friends. Hillary doesn't want to go and Max says Hillary actually does want to go. Hillary tells him to fuck off and Katrina, the girl who's talking to her, is shook by this and Max just tells her that Hillary is always like this. Isn't that pleasant? Katrina doesn't give up for some reason, even though Hillary says she's going home, and Katrina is like, is it because we like boys? Yeah, it is. As a lesbian, it's tiring to hear about men all the time. Leave us be, please. Stop talking about men. I'm sick of it. Katrina asks if she's having love problems and Max says yes, she wants to fuck the new employee. Katrina says you should try something new and hang out with us. And Hillary begrudgingly decides that she will do it. She ends up having a good time even though she doesn't know these people. That's one thing I'm worried about. Like if I decide to move, it's hard to meet new people. It's really uncomfortable. The group of girls has her tell them about Emily. I'm not repeating it. It's the same shit. Okay. They don't see a problem with Hillary being her boss and they ask if it's in the HR policy. It's not in the policy. It's just frowned upon. This feels so unrealistic. The places I've worked that like are real businesses have been like very strict about this kind of stuff. They ask if she's been hurt before because there's something holding her back. And she says, hasn't everyone been hurt? We learn about one of the other girls, Amy, being with another woman, but it ended with cheating. We're not going over it. There are a lot of side characters for a book that is only 84 pages long. It's really crazy. We'll get into it, okay? But Amy has Henry now. Yay, that's who she's with. And she tells Hillary that she'll feel those kinds of feelings again soon. You deserve to. And I think that you should just go for it. This is so morally wrong to me. I can't even cover all of it. Ew. Nasty. Chapter 6, Emily. We flash forward to it's now been an entire month and Emily is upset because Hillary has not even looked at her even a little bit romantically in this whole time. And she thinks that they had something great and she knows that they could be great. You didn't even meet. What are we talking about? But Emily knows there's something between them. She just knows it. She's been staring at Hillary a lot and she doesn't think people have noticed. Yeah, I bet they fucking have though. For the most part, I try to keep my mind off of things when I'm not at work. I write, I journal, I try my hand at poetry, I spend time with friends, I volunteer at the animal shelter, and of course I take a lot of long hot baths. I try to stay busy. I try to stay out of my own head. None of it works. At the end of the month, I'm still just as crazy obsessed with her. It's so many different things too. I love her laugh. I like her smile. I like the way she tells me about the books she reads over the weekends. I like how kind she is to everyone who works here. Although she avoids talking to me one-on-one as much as possible, I still get to know her in group. We still spend a lot of time together. So I hate when these books just list things that you can say about almost anybody. Aside from the reading, I guess, but a lot of people read, right? Like you could say that about me, but you don't know me. You know what I mean? Like we could be talking online and you could just be like, the books she talks about. Like what are we talking about here? Like you like her smile, you like her laugh, you like that she's nice sometimes. Like that's very bare minimum shit. What do you actually like about her? It's probably just that she's hot. Let's keep it 1,000. But Emily's also worried about this being like another Abigail situation. It's the same shit. People just repeating themselves over and over and over and over and over and over and over. We're sick of it. So they're at a meeting and Hillary needs some information that wasn't on one of the slides. And unfortunately for her, Emily just kind of freezes and she's like, I'm ready to make the company look good. But then she imagines kissing Hillary and then she forgets every single thing and she just freezes. So Hillary has to recover and says, hey, I'm going to email you those stats. Just give me like half an hour. Okay, sorry. And everyone in the room who's like leaving knows that Emily fucked up real bad. And so Hillary then decides to be an asshole again. What the hell was that? What do you mean? She's across the room in 2 seconds. She's standing next to me. Up. I don't move. Get up, Emily. Again, I stay where I am. But it doesn't even matter because Emily just wants to fucking make out with her for some reason. And then Hillary is like, what was that? What was all that? And Emily is thinking weird delusional shit instead of like work things. You need money to live, just in case you forgot. I don't want her hair back like this though. I want it down. I want it in my hands. I want to see what happens when her hair is spread out on pillows and tangled with my own red locks. These are the things that I want. These are the things that I need. You don't need that. You just want it. There is a difference. Okay? And she's like, you were supposed to have that information for me, Em. And Emily is like, Em? Again, because like this is so stupid. And she's like, Emily, sorry. And she's like, no, it's okay. I liked you calling me that, because she wants her to be her lover, obviously. And the desire to touch her is unimaginable for Emily, apparently. Hillary's like, you let me down. And Emily's like, I'm sorry. And Hillary's like, it won't happen again. And Emily's like, because I'm getting fired? She's like, no. And she's like, then how do you know? And she's like, because you always make the right choices. And she's like, I don't. And I'm like, I agree, she doesn't, because she had a relationship with her married boss. So, and no, I whisper, I'm bad. You're not. I could be. Prove it, she says, and I kiss her. Barf. Chapter 7, Hillary. They're making out. My hands are in her long red hair and then I cup her face as I kiss her over and over and over and over and over and over and more. Why? Repeating something isn't necessarily a great literary device if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So like, what are you talking about right now? And Hillary's telling her she's perfect, yada yada yada. They're touching and feeling, and it's in the office and it's gross. Do this at home. Do this on your own free time. I don't even support companies, but it's the way it is. I almost come right then.
In my pants.
Emily is everything I've ever wanted. Right now, I can't explain why the two of us actually aren't together. Is there really a reason? Is there something keeping us apart? I can't think of anything. Yeah, you work together and you're her boss. You're her direct supervisor. That's why. It's a fucked up power balance. Anyway, they're kissing more, and then there's touching on the outside through the pants, and Emily gets to the finish line. And she's perfect, so don't worry about that. She's apparently perfect. Woohoo! And then immediately they're like, oh shit, we shouldn't have done this. Like, that was really unprofessional. This was not good. And Emily's like, what do we do now? And Hillary is like, nothing. We shouldn't have done that, obviously, in her head, you know? And Emily is like, nothing can happen between us again. Yeah, except the whole plot of this book is shit that's happening. And they go over the optics in their, at least Hillary does in her brain, of being Emily's boss. Yeah, you should have thought about that a lot harder. And Hillary says, it's not you, I promise. And Emily's like, it is always me, boss, like it is. I'm like, well, yeah, because you keep trying to fuck your bosses. So that would, yeah. And Emily leaves the conference room and Hillary's upset about it. But at the same time, like, you shouldn't have done any of this. And then someone named Jessica comes in and is like, you look like shit. Like, do you want a drink? And Hillary's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, let's go get like 5. Chapter 8, Emily. This chapter is 1 page. I don't cry until I get to my office. Then I close the door, collapse on the floor, and let it all out. I cry for what could have been. I cry for what can never be. I cry for her and for me and for us, and then I stop. Yeah, why are you crying? You hardly know her. This is so stupid. Like, I don't understand people like this, because on one hand, they want to like have sex with people they barely know, which just isn't really for me. Okay, I'm not trying to shame anybody, I'm just saying that. But then they also get upset when they can't do anything about it when they knew they couldn't. I don't really get it. Chapter 9, Hillary. She's out with Jessica having, you know, some drinks. Jessica's life is going great. She and her wife are getting a cat. Hooray. And then they just talk about some stupid ass shit. They get martinis. And Jessica tells her that Hillary's problem is she's a people pleaser. Well, she hasn't pleased me once yet, so how true can that fucking be? They also used to date, apparently, because everyone in this fucking book used to date one another. Anyway, not being a people pleaser isn't always great, but sometimes it is good, blah blah blah. Who cares? And then she finally admits that she wants to fuck Emily, and she's like, your new assistant? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, so? And she's like, it's against company policy. And Jessica's like, is it? So I'm really assuming that it isn't against company policy. She's like, you'll figure this out, you always do. And she's like, because I trust you and you're like completely in control. She's never in control. She's not been in control once. They also used to work together at some point, blah blah blah. Who cares? There's too many side characters, and we'll get into it because there's even more, but whatever. Jessica's whole group of fucking friends comes to give Hillary advice and shit, and there's a ton of names. I'm not naming all of them, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 7 friends who came. That's absurd for an 84-page book, and that's not even counting the original group of girls who I also didn't name to you guys. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, they want to know everything. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. They really want to help, and they're like, what did you talk to her about on the dating app? And she's like, just stuff. And they're like, you definitely talked about sex, huh? And Jessica's like, it is Hillary. And I'm like, do people just flat out start swinging like at 1,000? I don't get it. Whatever. And they're like, you just need a push. And she's like, I don't need a push, I already kissed her. And they're like, you sly fox, you. And then they ask all about it, which is gross. And Hillary's like, this is really personal. And they're like, Emily doesn't know what she's missing. Emily is not the problem here. But Emily comes up and is like, yeah, actually I do think I know what I'm missing. And Hillary's like, fuck. So we find out chapter 10, Emily, that Emily also works at this bar. So she has 2 jobs. And she's like, I work here, when Hillary asks why she's here. And she's like, no, you work for me. And she's like, I have 2 jobs. And that's why I thought we could get a drink here, you know, when we first were talking. She's like, because it would be after your shift. And she's like, yeah. She's like, and that's why you're here, you're working. And she's like, yes, obviously. And she's like, does anyone need any drinks? So I'm like, this is so awkward. And then the group starts arguing over whether this is all like a group tab because Emily asked. And then one of Emily's bartendery friends is like, what the hell was that? And she's like, I don't know. It was like my boss and her boss and like everybody, you know. And Polly's like, why are they all so good looking? And the other 2 were like college students, I'm pretty sure. So, but Polly is her friend and she's 22 and she likes older women. That bodes not well for her. They talk about Polly not being able to find someone. She's like, I wish the professors would date me. Ew, barf, what are we doing? That was also the only thing that grossed me out in Carol, was that Carol is like 30 and what is the other girl's name? Can't remember to save my life right this second, but she's only 19 in the book. Therese, there we go. Therese is only 19 in the book. That's even younger than what we were talking about. That's absurd. And she tells her friends that they made out after like a board meeting, and Emily says it's wrong, and Polly's like, says who? And she's like, society, everybody. And Polly's like, girl, fuck society, do whatever you want. And she's like, she also hasn't stopped staring at you since you came here, so and I'm like, I don't understand what the hell we're talking about. And Polly's like, follow your heart. Yes, I would definitely take advice from a 22-year-old college student. Or 21-year-old college student, yes. I would definitely take that advice. Right, okay. Chapter 11, Hillary. The group is finally alone and she stayed after to talk to Emily. And she's like, I came to talk, and they talk about how they kissed or whatever and how it's complicated. But Emily's like, why? Why does it have to be so complicated? Why can't we just be adults and do things? Because when you guys inevitably break up, which happens a lot more than you would think, by the way, I know because of places I've worked before, it makes things really fucked up and it makes things really difficult and it's not fun. And they're gonna lock up. Hillary is like, I like you a lot and my friends liked you. They say how good each other looks and I can't stop thinking about the kiss and I want to taste you again, and like, I know. And we get to this. You tasted so fucking sweet, I say, and then I can't stop. I don't want to hold back, so I don't, and I kiss her again and again and again. Hooray. Yay. Okay, chapter 12, Emily. So we start this chapter with, when you work at an office, you aren't supposed to know what your boss tastes like. Yeah, exactly. You're not supposed to, but you do because you're a little freak. I'm not trying to shame people, but I'm like, I understand that this is also kind of escapism in a way, but at the same time, it's not the kind of escapism I enjoy. Okay, but they end up back at Emily's apartment and they talk about how much they like each other's smiles, and I'm like, yeah, because you don't know anything else about each other. Okay, I realized suddenly that she's not in charge here. No one is. There's no top, no bottom, just two women. You know, some women do top and bottom shit, so I would really like you to shut the hell up. I really hate this, like, being a lesbian because you're into another feminine woman is so spectacular and amazing and so different and so much less accepted than butches and femmes together. No, that's not fucking true. Y'all capitalized on the whole lesbian feminism movement of the 1970s, and every few years we go back into this same crap of the lesbian feminism from the 1970s that ostracized butch and femme people. I'm sick of it. Read up on your history. This is so stupid. It's annoying. Sorry, that just randomly pissed me off. I was like, are you serious? Are you for real? They're gonna have sex, okay? That's what you need to know. It wasn't good sex. So just so you know, I didn't enjoy any of it. But Emily thinks, I'm falling for the woman I adore. Why do you adore her? Why? All the tension is gone with Hillary though. With her, I think I'm going to be okay. With her, I feel fine, fierce, wild. With her, I feel alive. Well, then the tension probably isn't gone then, because the whole kink for you is that she's in a position of authority over you. So what are you talking about? Anyway, they're gonna do it and Emily is gonna give head, right? And Hillary's like, you don't have to, and Emily pulls out the who hurt you. Shut up. Also, like, I feel like most lesbians do oral, so I don't know what we're talking about. It's not like the epidemic of straight men who don't want to do it. Like, I don't, whatever. I know a lot about Hillary. I know she likes to laugh. I know she likes vinyl records and rock music. I know she likes to dance when she thinks no one is looking. That's not very much that you allegedly know. Like, you don't know that much, so I don't fucking understand why you're pretending you do. I hate when books do that. And apparently no one that she was with before liked kissing her down there. And that's why she's nervous, but they do it anyway and it's amazing. It's amazeballs woohoo, and she tastes like heaven apparently. Hooray. Chapter 13, Hillary. They're at Emily's apartment. It has snowed so badly outside that they like can't get out, and they didn't bring their work laptops, so they're going to have to basically call out. There's nothing I can do, I say. My laptop is at my place. I left mine at the office, she says. Sounds like a snow day to me, I say. Can you do that? If I had a nickel for every time somebody got snowed in during a December book that I fucking read, I'd have 2 nickels. But Hillary's gonna make some calls. so that they don't do any work because they can't work from their phones apparently, and they don't have much of a choice. Where does this take place? I don't know. Like in New Hampshire, they'd be like, no, you have to come. There's no exceptions, including like when I used to work at the grocery store for 7 years, and I would go in for like 7 a.m. or whatever because it was mandatory, even though it was snowing, it was really bad out. And then by like 9 or 10, they'd be like, do you want to go home early? And I'd be like, this is ridiculous. No, you have to pay me now. Get out of here. Anyway, Emily's gonna make tea while Hillary does the couple of phone calls, and then they're holding each other again and they're talking about how great each other was last night, and it's very boring. It's very stupid. And Hillary's like, also, I shouldn't have held back with you, like we should have just done it anyway. And they're trying to like communicate is like very clear, and I'm like, this is the worst communication I've ever seen in my whole life. And then they're kissing again and again. Hooray. Woo. Chapter 14, Emily. They're done kissing. The tea's cold, so Emily reheats it and then they drink it together. And then Hillary asks if she ever misses Abigail, and Emily says no, never. Well, like maybe sometimes, but I more miss the idea of her. What do you mean? I miss feeling like I belong to someone, I say honestly. Do you ever miss that? I do like belonging, she says. You've been in long-term relationships. And then she asks what happened with those relationships. Well, seeing as how I'm not dating those women anymore, I'd say they ended. Funny. Sorry. It's okay. Is it so funny? I don't think it's funny. I think it's stupid as hell. But I do agree with the like, I kind of miss being with someone. I kind of miss belonging to someone. I totally understand that. And Emily, don't worry, Emily's glad that Hillary's not with any of those people anymore. Yeah, no shit, honey. And then they're kissing, they're telling each other how pretty they are again. And then we get to this. What do you like about me? Your shins, I say, and I kiss her shins. What else? Your knees, I say, and I kiss her knees. I think there's more you could like about me, Hillary says. I like your thighs. See, this is what it really all boils down to, is that they're sexually attracted to each other, and that's all that matters to them. See, I personally feel like I can be sexually attracted to somebody, but if there's no emotional connection, if we don't like any of the same things, if we're not on the same wavelength or vibe, there's nothing for me. Like, I don't want to just sleep with somebody. So like, it would be okay if this book was like, I just want to sleep with her because she's hot, but instead it's like, I'm falling in love with her because of her laugh and her smile and these couple of things that any human fucking does. Who are you talking to? Because it sure as shit shouldn't be me. And then she licks her legs again. First one thigh, then the other. That's so gross to me. Do people like that? Let me know in the comments, because I think that's ew. I think that's gross. And then they're having more sex, and they're losing their minds. I want it. I need it. I love knowing this side of her. Blah, 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 blah. And then we're at chapter 15 after the sex. Hillary. If Baby Girls Come was an art, Emily would be my favorite artist. Do you ever just want to die a little bit because these books are awful? Anyway, there's still sex happening in this chapter. It's the whole please don't stop, blah 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 blah. Who cares? I'm exactly this person. I'm a total complete pile of goo. I'm much against her. She keeps licking me and then she slides a finger into me. I don't really want in a sex scene that's supposed to be making me feel hot and bothered, allegedly, for them to say I'm a complete pile of goo. I'm mush. Why the fuck would I want that? You guys are weird. Anyway, she's gonna get there. She gets there. Wave after wave. It's a tsunami. It's magic. No, it's just an O. That's it. Chapter 16, Emily. They spend the day having sex and enjoying themselves. And then they talk about how tomorrow they're gonna have to go back to work. And she's like, Emily, just talk to me. Just like, tell me what's going on. And Emily's like, you can't boss me around, not here. She's like, something's bothering you though. And Emily's like, maybe.
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
And Hillary says, I can help if you just tell me. And it's like about them, and Emily's like, shit, was I just a dirty secret? Was I just some fun? I should have known this couldn't really be something special. I should have fucking known. And then she tells her that she was a secret at her old job. Yeah, because your boss was fucking married. Should have been one of your fucking clues that she was married. And Hillary's like, I'm sorry that she hid you away. That's really fucked up. And Emily's like, are you gonna do that too? And Hillary is like, you think I want to hide you? She's like, I'm worried. I think it will complicate things. And Emily's like, oh, I guess we shouldn't go for it then. But Hillary's like, no, we absolutely should. We absolutely should go for it. Chapter 17, Hillary. She wants her and she's gonna fight for her, apparently. I'm not going to be afraid, baby. I'm not going to be scared. I want you. I don't care what anyone else at the office has to say. We'll talk to whoever we need to talk to. We'll make it happen. And Emily's like, you want me? Why? And I'm like, girl, what are we doing? And apparently she's funny and sweet and sassy. Did we see any of that? Not really, no. And Hillary thinks that she's worth fighting for, and they're really happy and they decide to take a chance on each other. Then there's an epilogue that has nothing to do with the original story. It's clearly an advertisement for the next one. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that because that's stupid. And then it says the story continues in Lesbian Professor. I will not be reading that unless someone buys it for me. Absolutely no. Conclusion. What did I think about this one? I thought this one was fucking stupid. I thought that it was terrible. It had one of my least favorite tropes ever, and I think that the writing was poor. I think there was a lot of time spent repeating things and not a lot of time spent on actually developing the characters. I feel like we had way too many side characters when we should have been focusing on the main relationship, because that was the most important part of the fucking story. So I gave this book a 1 star. This book was not good, and I could not recommend this to anybody unless I maybe hated them, which is a series I do on my TikTok, but still. What did you guys think of this book? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, maybe leave a little combat boot emoji in the comments if you made it this far. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you had a really happy holiday, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!